Today's episode is sponsored by Nelly Inc., an emerging tattooist and artist. Nelly is based on the Gold Coast and specialises in fine line art. She has recently embarked on her tattooing journey and is currently offering free apprentice tattoos for her portfolio through her Instagram, which is at Nelly Inc. You can find this in the podcast description below. You're listening to Instantly 20, an original podcast where we discuss navigating life in your early 20s.
I'm Ash.
And I'm Keely.
And on today's episode, you're listening to the highs and lows of moving cities.
Before we get started on today's episode, we really just wanted to thank all of our friends and family and anyone who's listened in for listening and supporting us on our pilot episode, which we released about a month ago. We've felt so much love and support from everyone, and we're just really grateful that everyone has really jumped on board, given us feedback, interacted with our Instagram and just been really supportive of what we've decided to do.
The engagement has been so good. Like, we've already had so many episode requests and I don't know, it's really exciting, and we are so glad to be coming at you with our very first official episode, which is going to be talking about the highs and lows of moving out from your hometown.
So before we actually get started, I almost completely forgot. As you may have heard in our pilot episode, we're going to be doing a segment at the start of every single episode, which is Lucky Girl Syndrome. Mm-hmm. Ash, would you like to go first? We've actually got a joint.
This is like a big one. So when was it? It was last week.
It was April 17th.
I got a job offer and I'm so happy about it because it's just like marking a new chapter for me, and it's going to just bring a lot more flexibility into my life. So I accepted the job offer, which I'm to start next week.
Yeah. But on the same day, Ash got a call.
So I called Keely about this good news. We got approved for a new house and it's right by the beach. So I feel very grateful and lucky. And yeah, it's just a perfect environment for us to be, like, with our dog, and the new job is a lot closer to home. So
on the same day, basically I've wanted to become a Pilates instructor since I moved to Sydney. It's been something that I've really wanted to do for a long time, just as like an extra little source of income, something that I'm really interested in and I love doing. But on the same day, I got a text message and I texted Ash and I was like, April 17th is our lucky day. I got approved to become a part of the course that I got the offer for. So we're both starting on Monday and Tuesday next week, which is like perfect timing. And then also piggybacking off the property thing, Ash and I moved into our places last year about a week apart, so we obviously have leases ending at the same time, but on Friday or Saturday last week, a couple of days after Ash got approved, I texted her and I was like, guess what, I applied for a property. I didn't think I was going to get it, but I did, and we're both moving out within a week of each other,
and we're both starting new jobs.
How crazy.
It's just weird, like
it
really
is.
Bizarre timing, but it's kind of exciting because I feel like we're both just starting fresh, clean slate. And I'm stoked.
I'm also stoked. I think we've just really both needed a fresh start for a while.
When life just feels like a bit static for a while and you're kind of like, nothing new and exciting and fresh is happening. I feel like it's hitting us all
at once,
from 0 to 100 straight away.
It happens all the time. We go through life like a really big roller coaster. But
I feel like whenever I've got like a big moment, a similar thing happens for you.
Yeah, all the time.
It's exciting to be able to share it, but
so that's our lucky girl syndrome.
That's our lucky girl syndrome. We can both combine it. But moving back to our topic for today, moving from your hometown. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about our own experiences moving from our hometown to Sydney, and then, we're going to get into our listener questions. We asked you guys on our Instagram page to join in to ask for any questions, advice. So listen towards the end for that, but we're going to get started. Keely, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so my experience in moving to Sydney started when I was 19. So I was only a month out of high school, but I knew midway through year 12 that was going to be happening. So I had plenty of time to prepare. I knew what course I was going to be doing. I knew exactly what suburb I was going to be moving into. I'd found a roommate. It was all very nice, neatly tied into a bow, very easy. So I moved January 2020, and as you guys all know, 2020 was not the best year. So
COVID.
Woohoo. Yeah, so I moved to Sydney to do my diploma of dance at a elite full-time dance school in Sydney. I actually got a text message when I was in year 11 to invite me to come audition for them, and I took the opportunity. You know what though, at the time I really didn't think I was good enough. I had a lot of doubts within myself. I knew what I wanted to do, but I just didn't think it was going to happen for me.
Yeah.
And when I got this text message to invite me, because I'd looked at my Instagram, I was like, oh my God, this is like a sign. It's meant to happen. So I did my course in 2020, 2021. A lot of it was on Zoom while I was streaming from home in my hometown, but that's fine. And yeah, so I'm really, really glad that I did that. So that's just a little touching on why I moved to Sydney. I won't go too much into it, but Ash, why did you move to Sydney?
My experience is a little different. I didn't really have anything here waiting for me, but mine was more relationship and change of pace and lifestyle. I met my partner in Sydney and we were doing long distance back and forth. And yeah, like, look, he never would have wanted to move to my hometown. So it was kind of always on me to come to Sydney, which I'm really was like happy to do, no problems at all. But as well with my career, it all just lined up really nicely with, I was living with some housemates at the time and my lease was coming to an end. So it just worked out perfectly. I was supposed to move in August, but
Yeah.
I kind of just said to my partner, like, I feel like April is on the cards for me, and we made it work. And I came, funny story, you guys will hear this when we do a roommates episode, but I actually lived with Keely for about 2 months. And we weren't the typical roommate because I actually stayed with her in her room. We were bed buddies.
We were bed buddies.
We were bunk
we weren't even
buddies.
flatmates. We were just bed buddies. That sounds so weird.
But like, that came with its own challenge, but I'm very grateful because I feel like I've always got those memories starting off with you. And
We had the best time. We loved it.
I moved last April, so it's been a whole year now. And yeah, now I feel like I've finally gotten on my feet. We're moving to another property. My partner and I have got a really cute little apartment, but I feel like it's time to sort of upgrade and move forward. So my career as well was also a really big part of my move. I'm a makeup artist and I really want to specialize in bridal and event. But look, coming from such a small town, there's only so much kick that you can get out of that. And I feel like this is a place where I can bloom in my career and keep progressing. So yeah, that's basically my little portion of why I moved. And yeah, I feel like we're still getting started. It's exciting.
It is exciting. So yeah, this episode is obviously called The Highs and Lows of Moving Cities. So we've both gone away in our own time and written down just our feelings about, the good and the bad side of living out of home in a completely new city without your family, without your support network, although we do have each other, so not completely without a support network. So I guess I'll start.
We'll start with our highs.
I can see we both have more lows written down than we do highs. I just saw that. No, but there's so many highs. Like, I guess, okay, first of all, obviously the reason why I moved here was for my dance course, and the full-time course was honestly the best 2 years of my life. It was incredibly hard to put perspective on what I did. So I did a full-time course, so full-time, not like full-time uni where they go a couple of days a week, like full-time 35-hour week. So you would go at 8:30 in the morning and you'd finish at 3:30. You'd do 4 1.5-hour dance classes a day. And if not dance classes, it would be fitness. It would be all these other things. We'd go to the gym, we'd go for runs. Like, it was a lot. But also in saying that, we did a lot of acting and singing and fun stuff as well. So that was good. Not to say that fitness isn't fun, but anyway. So there was lots of like amazing things about it, but it was incredibly hard, incredibly draining. And looking back, I really wish that I like put in the time to get more out of it. And like, if I hadn't had to move out of home, I think I would have probably gotten more out of it. Like, it was so amazing moving out of home and having my independence and being able to choose what I wanted to do. But like, getting up every morning, making my own breakfast, trying to meal prep, which I didn't. Like, I was so bad. I would not cook. But like, I just was so young and not understanding of how to take care of my body. Like, I know more about it now to actually do it. And I kind of wish like I knew what I know now when I was in that course. But yeah, so my full-time dance course was the best. And like, now I've got all this experience and amazing training that's allowed me to now do what I want and what I love for money, which is really cool and so much fun. We'll get into that in another episode. But yeah, the two other ones I had written down were the freedom to choose what I want to do. So in so many ways, it's just been so much fun being like, if I really want to, I can go drive to Macca's at midnight.
Not having to ask like
Don't
a
have to
parent
ask
or
anyone.
anyone.
Yeah, it's really fun just like having that independence. I was like very weird at first, but you know, it's lost its novelty now, but it's still fun. And then also Sydney is just a city so full of life and opportunity and events and like just so many things. So I love being here and being able to be a part of everything. And yeah, I just honestly think it was the best thing that I could have done leaving high school was getting out and doing what I need to do, because it's been just really great for my growth. So they were my highs.
Beautiful. I love them. Mine were kind of similar. I definitely did write down about how more opportunity as well and growth, definitely in my professional working career. Obviously, my no longer doing long distance with my boyfriend was such a huge factor. And yeah, I think the change in lifestyle and just like navigating like a new place has been equally hard as it has been good, but like having more to do and more to see. And then as well, I think building yourself from the ground up, like when you are in your hometown, everyone knows you, they know your business, everyone knows what's going on. And it's so refreshing coming to a place where no one knows that. Like you have to make your own friends, you have to put yourself out there. Like you do not need to be the same person that you were remembered by. You know what I mean? Like when you leave high school and you know, like everyone just knows who you are, and it's good to shake it off and to kind of start fresh.
I definitely agree with that as well, because I love reinventing myself constantly, and the fact that we're in Sydney, we've always got the ability to do so. Like if you do start a new job or you do go to a new cafe, like nobody knows who you are. Like you can just be whoever you want to be, and I think that that's such an amazing part of being part of such a massive city. So I totally agree with you. What else did you have written down?
That was it, really.
I think you've forgotten someone.
Oh, and Keely.
No, not me. Ash has a beautiful dash hound
called
called
my
Moose.
baby.
And
my Moose. Yeah, he's
love
my little
him.
dash hound. He's a miniature. My partner and I got him. He's 10 months old, so yeah, he's been my little angel. Like my fur baby's actually my child, and I'm in love. Like I'm obsessed with him.
He's my nephew, and I babysat him for a week while they went overseas, and it was the best week of my life. Like, I literally love this dog so much. You guys have no idea.
He's definitely one of the highs. And I think as well, like I don't have my family here, but my boyfriend's family and his grandparents, his sister and his brother and his mum. Shout out to you guys. I know that some of them listen, but I feel like I've gained like a really nice little support network for myself here. And I don't need to just like always rely on him. Like I feel like I've created my own connections with friendships, but as well, like having some kind of source of like family, it's very nurturing and like comfortable to be around them.
I know what you mean. I also don't have any family that live in Sydney, but I feel like I've got just some beautiful friends and even mentors and people from my course and my dance industry that I look up to. And I also have some family friends that I've known for years and years and years. So it feels like I've got family here, even though I don't.
It's like your family away from family.
Exactly. And Ash is like my sister. So
I know.
It's always like so nice to have you here.
As well, I think you were just one of the highlights moving, just knowing that we were closer, more time to hang out, because we were doing a long distance friendship for a little while.
Now we're just medium distance.
Going back and forth. Yeah, we live 40 minutes away from each other, which is not bad at all. In Sydney terms, it's not bad. But anyway, those are our highs, and let's talk about the lows.
Yeah, so
The lows.
I've got a lot to say about this one. Okay, so number one, I feel like a lot of people have also experienced this. It's definitely not just me. Navigating not one, but 2 lockdowns was so hard. It was a lot. So like the first time I just moved out of home, I'd been in Sydney for 2 months and I went back and I kind of just slipped back into my family everyday life like normal. It was fine. But then I think I got back maybe mid-year 2020 and I was back in Sydney for a full year before we went to a second lockdown. Now this one was hard because I remember I had a mental breakdown.
I feel like by then you're standing on your own 2 feet, like you know how to navigate yourself, and then having to be thrown back into family.
Oh, like, don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful for my family and I love that my mum still has my room set up. It's so nice having somewhere to go home to and like they would cook for me, and it was just so lovely having that nurturing presence around me again. But oh my goodness, I was home for 4 months after living out of home for a year and a half. Like that was like a lot. And I just like, I just remember it being so difficult, so challenging. I just wanted to come back to Sydney, and it was just a very frustrating period of time. But then again, there was a lot of like things I'm grateful for that came with that. Like I got to spend time because Ash was still living back home then.
Yeah, I didn't experience the Sydney lockdowns ever.
And it was really funny because she would be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'd be like,
what's
I'm
wrong?
living the best life over here. We had like a 4-week lockdown. And I was like, yes, get a break from work. Like I
paid to
actually
rest.
moved in with some roommates at that time. Like I just felt like
She was living her best life.
it was a break. I was like sipping on my cocktails at home, chilling. And everyone was like
yes.
frantically in Sydney, like, oh my God, the world is ending. And I was like, okay, guys, that's a
It
bit
took
dramatic.
a few months to realise what
I was like, oh, it actually was a really big deal here.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, that was definitely like my first low. Did you want to bounce off that? Did you want to tell your next one? Take turns?
Yeah, mine doesn't relate at all, but I will jump on and say the family, like the lows are like not being reliant on your parents anymore. Like you are an adult, you have to fend for yourself. And there are days where I just call my mum and I'm like, Mommy, I miss you. Like I miss her so much, and I miss my dad and my sisters, and just being able to have like that family dynamic.
See, I think for me with that one,
Because I haven't gone home yet.
no, she hasn't.
I've lived here for a whole year now and I haven't gone home yet.
Yeah,
So it's been a bit of a kick in the gut sometimes.
yeah.
Not being, I love you,
It's
but
okay.
like not being able to like
Yeah.
just go home, like have a hug when you need one.
Yeah.
Just crying in the corner right now.
Crying in the club. No. So for me, like I found that really interesting because I find that when I miss people, I really have to take a big back step from them because otherwise it really gets to me. So like you said, like when you miss your mum, you call her. If I miss my mum and I call her, I will just cry and be sad for days and days and days. So like
Just call her, dude. Well, that's so weird.
Love you, mum. Hi, mum.
She listens.
So
Hi.
like I find it really hard. Like when I've gone home after maybe being here for a while and I see them, I always cry when I leave
You
my
do,
family.
yeah.
I get so sad, but it's because I love them so much, and it's just like, yeah. I think for me, if it means a lot to me, like sometimes I have to take a bit of a back step and a disconnect from it just so it doesn't like hurt me.
I'm the opposite. I have to like pull forward. Pull? No, push.
Push
There we
forward.
go.
Yeah.
I have to call and I have to be present and talk to that person.
Yeah.
I feel like I
I
can't
need to
just
take a
be in my
yeah.
corner, because then that makes me feel worse.
I need to take a page out of your book. But if mum and dad are listening, I love you guys, and I promise I'll try to call more. I'm going to jump to my last point because it actually links really well into this. Mm-hmm. This is actually to do with you.
Oh.
Some tea. No,
Tell
not really.
me now.
I found it extremely difficult to balance my friendships back home for a very long time. And you could see it. It was partially because of my ridiculous schedule. So to put in perspective, not only was I doing the 35 hours dancing, I'd work 20 to 25 hours on top of it, and I had no time for myself. And I was learning how to be an independent adult. Like it was a lot at
You were
once.
busy.
I was very busy. But meanwhile, Ash was at home and she hadn't quite started a full-time job. I think you were still working casually and you just finished school.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just enjoying that independence.
It's kind of like, why isn't she reaching out? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? But I fully get it now. Like,
Yeah.
you are in your own bubble here. Like, it's very fast paced and you have to get done what you have to get done. And it's very slow back in the rural parts of New South Wales. Like,
Yeah.
lifestyle is just so different.
Different.
And it's hard to sort of connect and be like, oh,
Yeah.
like, sorry, I know it may seem like forever for you, but really, like, the weeks go by so
Yeah,
quick
they
here.
do. They really do. It's so true. And yeah, there was definitely a period of time where like I was really worried that our friendship wasn't going to make it through me living away from you, which was
You
so
can't get rid
sad.
of me that
No, I
easily.
can't. So our mutual friend from high school, Ash, and her were hanging out a lot while I was in Sydney in my first year, and I found that really difficult. And I feel like a lot of people experience this the same. But when you leave your group of friends and like they're still spending time with each other, it's so hard to like watch it because you're like, oh, I'm living my new life and I'm doing what I need to do. But like you get that FOMO, and I was always so sad. Like,
I
I
hate
couldn't
that.
tell you guys how I felt because I just
Yeah.
don't think it made sense.
No, I understand.
But yeah,
I guess it's just, yeah, like I think distance does make a difference,
Yeah.
but it's still, you know, like making that time.
Anyway, so it worked out for the best because here we are. We're still friends. We're closer than ever. And I really think maybe that break was good for us. I don't know. But, you know.
See, I'm going to also piggyback on top of that. I feel
Just
like we
keep
keep piggybacking.
just, like-
Why are we saying that so much?
That's hilarious.
But I left a lot of friendships that no longer served me. And I am the kind of person that I'll give you a heads up and say, hey, this is a situation. This is how I'm feeling. Like, I will give you notice and let you know. Yeah, something about me is that I will not stay in a situation that, like, doesn't serve me anymore. So what I mean by that is if you are a friend that isn't, I don't know, like just isn't present and isn't giving me like what I need. And look, I'm not saying that everyone, like not everyone needs to be your best friend. Like you don't need to spend every single day with each other or call and talk every single day. But when you're putting in more effort than someone else, and it's just like even like a casual friendship, like a, you know, catch up every so often and hang out, totally like love, you need those friendships too. And like I love having those. But if you aren't ever reaching out, if I'm the only person ever putting it in, sorry to like, I just can't like have space in my life for that.
Yeah, so Ash and I are very opposite on this because I really struggle to put boundaries and I struggle to let go of people. I'm a bit of a people pleaser. So if I do have a problem with someone, I just kind of don't say anything, which is something I'm learning to change.
And I'm the opposite. Like if you say, Ash, like I need the truth, you bet your dollar that I will tell you
the truth.
Like I am going to be, you know, say that I'm hard on you. Okay, sure. But like I will say it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets me in a little bit of trouble, but that's me. Like I just want to have that person's best interest and I'm going to be in your corner. But yeah.
I've got two more. So guys, I don't recommend doing this. This is kind of funny. I moved to Sydney with not $1 in my bank account or a job.
Girl.
Or who does that? I said earlier that like everything was wrapped together in a nice little package before I moved, but that is so not necessarily true because I paid my bond, I paid my 2 weeks up front, I, you know, bought my linen and all the stuff, like the fun stuff. I bought decorations for my room, but I moved to Sydney with not $1 in my bank account. I did not have any savings and I got here and I found a job and then it kind of just went from there. I don't even have a car. Well, I did have a car, but it was still back home. I didn't even bring my car. Like I was so disorganized. But, like, it's worked out for the best. I have a good job now. I'm all good. I'll wait till you finish drinking the water, the ASMR. Just a little ad break. Okay. Yes, so I don't recommend moving to a city without that sort of preparation. But you know what? It worked out for the best.
Anyway, we all got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I was just going to say, yeah, this is, like, not at all bouncing off you, but the sink or swim feeling, like... My older sister said to me, Ash, you are either going to sink or you're going to swim. There's like no in between.
I'm really proud of Ash because she, honestly, this girl, I don't know what's wrong with her immune system, but she gets sick all the time.
I've got a new virus every month. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. It's not
gone
fun.
through it and back.
But like the thing is, she moved, got sick pretty much straight away, which was not fun.
I had bronchitis 3 times, COVID twice, RSV, and flus everywhere.
Tonsillitis as well.
Oh, that was before I moved, and glandular fever.
She just like cannot cop a break. It's so frustrating. But I'm really proud of her because like these things happen and like they do take a toll on you, your energy levels and your mental health. But she's still pushed through and she's come out the other end better than ever. And she's done really well. I'm really proud of you.
I'm on my meds, guys. I'm getting there.
What kind of meds?
I'm very deficient.
Panadol?
No, very deficient. Like a lot of deficiencies. Like sit in the sun and eat a banana. Like
sit in the sun.
Literally.
Like suck it up.
But yeah, to conclude the lows, I would say there have been lots of challenges. And at times I've missed my old life, but growth comes from change and change is never comfortable. It's never easy. And I just want to say if you are someone that has moved from your hometown, you are doing a freaking good job. If you're someone that feels like you are sinking rather than swimming, just know that we've all been there and that it's okay. Like we all have to experience the lows.
And also just wanted to add in, if you're someone that's thinking of moving or changing cities, moving internationally, interstate, like don't take these as a bad thing. It's not Like everyone's going to have their
We're
highs
warning
and lows. We're warning you.
I would say it's hard.
Don't
like
get put off.
being a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
you
it's
gotta
not
gotta
like
start
it's
somewhere.
not easy. You have to pick
Exactly.
up yourself and start a brand new life.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like this has been quite a bit of a not a negative,
Not
episode,
negative,
but it's
but
just like
just-
it's just the harsh reality.
Hard. It is so hard being an adult some days. Like I sometimes just want to go home and be like, wow, I just want to go home to my mum and dad and just live in my bubble and like not have to work and not have to pay. But
Exactly. And that's the thing, and that's
brutal.
It's easy, and then and that's a comfortable way to live life, but you're never gonna necessarily succeed and move forward unless you're feeling uncomfortable. So like, not to say it's a bad thing to have that. If you are fortunate enough to still live at home and have those things that Ash discussed, like that is amazing, and that can put you in such a great position and a head start for life. But if you're thinking about it and you feel like you want to go and venture out, it's not a bad thing at all. It's always going to be a good thing.
sometimes you have to leave the nest.
So this leads us into our last segment of this episode, which is our Q&A from our fans.
Beautiful listeners. So
Our fans.
we had so many people. And okay, you know when you're on Instagram and you see like people put up a question box and you just kind of like stalk it and you don't really I never write in.
I don't participate either, so
But
thank you for participating.
Thank you. Like we've had people actually do it and we want it to be like a safe environment for you guys to do that. So our first question, Killy.
So we asked you guys on the stories a couple of days ago a few questions. So the first one was, have you moved away from your hometown? And 73% of people said yes, and 27% said no. So I actually thought that was more. I don't know. I thought we were going to have less, but I was really surprised to see how many people have moved away because it's a big thing.
And it was interesting because the next one was, if not, do you plan on moving out of your hometown? And 67% of you said yes, 11% said no, and 22% were undecided.
And then the next question we asked you guys was, what was the reason you moved? And we were really interested to see what other people moved for. 70% of you guys said that you were also for university and study like me. 11% of people said job opportunity, which I think good on you. That's awesome. If you can move for a job, like that's such an exciting card to be dealt, I would say. 15% said relationship and 4% said general lifestyle change.
Very interesting. And the next one, we asked you guys, what do you wish someone had told you before you decided to move? And we had a lot of
We had
answers.
lots of responses. Did you want to? We'll just take turns. I'll go from the bottom. Ash replied to it, and she
did.
said, "Prepare yourself." And I think that's aimed at me. No, I'm kidding.
Yes, literally. No, but like mentally and physically. I don't know.
No,
that's the word.
physically, yeah.
Yeah, like prepare your shit. Like move, pack up your
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
Throw out things. Like prepare what your game plan is.
Yeah, and I think we're in
Plan
that
of
boat at the
attack.
moment, actually. We're getting ready to
Oh
do the
yeah,
same thing again.
a taste of my own advice. The next one kind of went. I don't know. Like I don't know how I feel about this one. That it's harder for the people you leave behind to adapt than it is for you to adapt, and that the people need support when they're back home as much as they need to support you. And I do get that it goes both ways, because actually. When my big sisters moved out of home, I was like, I felt like abandoned. I was like, I've been left alone. You guys are starting a new chapter and it's hard to watch someone as I watched you move. And I was like, oh, I don't get to experience that.
You know what, though? I actually kind of agree with that statement that that listener said, because I found that some people back home, I guess my family, they've found it really hard to see me go off and do things, and they're still got the same life, but they've had me removed from it, whereas I've
change for
started
them.
a new life. So I think I agree that it is hard for people back home to adapt. So,
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree.
I like this next one. She wrote, "Don't forget to buy all the little things you forgot about, like sugar, salt and pepper, etc." Yes.
So true.
Because
Little,
oh my gosh,
little things. Little things that you just when you go home, you're like, oh yeah, like paper towel and like hand soap, like you have to pay for that yourself now.
do you have to go find it? It doesn't just appear.
The other one was FaceTime your roommates before moving in with them. Kelly, you've lived with a lot of roommates.
I've had a few roommates just because there's been many reasons why I've switched up my living arrangements, which we'll go into in our roommates episode, which you guys can look forward to. But FaceTiming your roommates before you move in with them is actually really important because you want to make sure that you know who they are, you know what their personality is like. Do you guys bounce off of each other? And this is something we really want to discuss in the roommates episode, but like everyone is brought up so differently. We won't get into it today, but because Ash and I have a lot of like opposite thoughts on how you should live. But yeah, I think it's really important to discuss the nitty gritty with your roommates before you move in, because if you realize you guys are very different people, it's going to be really hard to adapt.
Yeah, I think we might fly through these next ones. If things don't go to plan, it's okay. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. You're only 18, 19, 20. You have time. Take each day as it comes.
The next person wrote, shit's rough.
Oh, it is.
I like that one.
Someone said, I don't know, I just miss home.
Same. Someone said it's going to be so effing expensive. Yes, it is.
And that you're more capable than you think.
Live your best life without worrying about other options.
So true. Someone said everything with a laughing face.
I agree.
So true,
So
yeah.
true. Just everything. No context.
This one is so directed at me.
When you get sick and there's no one to help look after you, that really sucks.
So true.
Yes.
Trust in the process. Be bold.
Someone wrote, a hint about inflation would have been nice.
So true. Never rely on your real estate. 90% of the time, they're unreliable and lazy.
Oh, gosh, that's a big one. Do your research, look at the reviews. That's all I'm going to say about that.
The next thing that we asked you guys, what has been the hardest part about moving cities?
So we've got finding a rental and furnishing an entire apartment.
Missing family, not being my parents' little girl. You will always be your parents' little girl.
You will always be your parents' baby. Like, oh, it doesn't matter how old you get, they'll always still see you that way. But that one melted my heart, and I thought it was so like...
I wanted to give you a hug when I
wanted to give her a hug too, because, yeah, that's a really hard thing to accept. And
it's a tough pill to swallow because I've been there, not seeing my family and being like, oh, I'm not their babe, but I am.
But you are.
I am.
Exactly. We've got accepting that sometimes it'll be lonely.
Someone said COVID, lol. Saying goodbye to family, getting to know the area. Yeah, that's hard, honestly.
Yeah.
Navigating a new environment and just feeling lost. I definitely experienced.
Yeah, for sure.
Having no idea where I'm going.
No, I mean physically lost for Ash, because she would
I've
call
got a
me
really
in
bad-
tears.
Okay.
Because she's taken a wrong turn and ended up on like the Eastern Distributor, which is like
Why
a
am I
toll
laughing?
road.
Oh my gosh,
She
that
would
was the
call me in
ugliest laugh
tears.
ever. But I have had a panic attack in a Westfield parking lot before, and something about me, I've got like a really
That's like
trashy
a sense of direction.
sense of direction. And Keely, like if we are relying on each other, she knows where to go and I don't. Like I just show up. I'm
I've
like,
got
you
good
come get
orientation
me.
skills.
Someone said, "Mummy not cooking for her baby."
I miss my mum cooking for
I
me.
do miss my mum cooking.
I
feel
suck at
like
cooking.
I'm the cooker.
Ash is
I'm
the cook
always
in this
cooking.
relationship.
Navigating relationships and trying to maintain old friendships from a distance.
We discussed that
discussed
before.
it.
Missing core friend groups and family and FOMO, which we also discussed earlier. And then, this is an interesting one. Being in a new environment forces you to have personality change to adapt. Yeah, okay. That's an interesting thought.
And then one more was moving all my clothes. I'd say moving everything,
clothes.
like deciding what you need with furniture, clothes, items.
And then throwing out the stuff you don't need. That's a big thing.
And then we also asked you guys, what has been the best part about moving? Because with all the lows, there are the highs as well.
And things, they have to be balanced. And even though a lot of things may seem really negative in the moment, like there are so many amazing things about moving and being in a new environment. So the first one we've got is making new memories, which is, yes, absolutely.
New experiences and becoming a better me.
When you realize it now feels like you're home.
That's so cute.
I love that.
And that takes a while as well. Which rolls into the next one. It might take a long time for you to settle in, but that's okay.
Having access to better stores and the postage is always quicker compared to our hometown. Yes.
Independence, aligned friendships, being fearful but doing it anyway.
That's my favorite quote, feeling the fear and doing it anyway. I always think about that. Even like with this podcast, Ash and I were so nervous to hear it, like put our voices out and people to like listen to us because you're like, how am I going to sound?
And now we're in your ears.
And you're clearly still listening if you got to this point. So I'm hoping that that's a good thing. So we felt the fear and we're still here. Oh, that rhymed. I really aligned with this one. This one stood out to me. It's figuring out the way I want to live my life without influences, expectations, and pressures from parents and carers. This is a really interesting one because, yeah, you grow up your whole life with people molding you and teaching you the way you should be, and then suddenly being able to make those decisions for yourself, and like especially big decisions, not just the little things like what to buy, or like what should I put in my house in this corner. Like I'm talking like the way you want to navigate your own relationships, what friends you have in your life, what jobs you want to take. Like that is a huge thing to decide by yourself. So yeah, like I thought that one was very interesting.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So that was the highs and lows of moving cities. And yeah, again, we just want to say thank you guys for tuning in to our very first episode.
At the moment, this podcast is going to be bi-weekly. We're going to be releasing it on Sunday evenings so that you guys can listen to it for the start of your week. So I hope you look forward to hearing more from us. But yeah, that's about it.
This episode was a pretty lengthy one. The next few...
We've still got our training wheels on, so bear with us.
Yeah, next year I feel like we'll be a little bit not as much of like a hefty listen. Anyway.
But thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day. Bye.